Hello, hello. Welcome to the Creatives Conversation, a place where creatives converge and we talk about all things that we need to know as creatives. And it's creatives talking to creatives. So, before we get started, my name is Gabriella Martay. I am the owner and director of the company that presents this podcast called Helps Too. And I have with me would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am the brand manager at Helps Too, which means I manage our brand and do a lot of our social posting. And my name is Amber Huffman.
Amber Huffman.
I don't know if I've ever introduced myself with my last name. That was kind of weird.
Wow, yeah, I like it. Huffman. Won't always be that way, but that's her name right now. So you might look her up in a year or two and it's totally different. So I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So before we get started, I just want to let y'all know that we are sponsored today. Yay. This is our first sponsorship, so we're so excited by Budget with Purpose. Let me read the spiel about Budget with Purpose. And if you have not seen the podcast where the Brandon Blackman, the famous one from Budget with Purpose, he's the owner, the founder, he was on it. We were talking about all things money and finances as creatives. It was incredible. Go back and watch it. We'll link it if you're on YouTube in the bottom of this video in the description. If you're on the podcast, you're just going to have to go Google it or find it in like the history of the podcast. But Budget with Purpose is a financial coaching studio designed to offer you free and customizable financial tools. Everything from personal budgets to financial classes and daily money management. Budget with Purpose has something to help you find purpose in your finances. Find out more at budgetwithpurpose.com. Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Which is great. I think this is perfect for this podcast because we're actually going to be talking about finances and how to price what you do as a business owner, creative, or just a human being that's doing like some kind of work. And it doesn't really it's not like just so blatant as to how you can charge.
It's not like, well, I work at the grocery store and make this much per hour. Because that's like, you don't price yourself in that case.
Yeah, but when you are actually like a freelancer or you're creating, even if it's something that's like, not so seemingly creative, there's prices that need to be spoken about, purchase prices. And people often will say, well, how much do you charge? And then what do you say back?
Stare back at them blankly. Be like, I don't know. How much do you want to pay me?
Well, that's the worst. So we're not doing that today. It's just I feel like this is such a stumbling block for a lot of creatives. Yeah. And so today we're going to talk about it because I feel like I stumbled upon some stuff. I've been listening to, I don't know if y'all know him, but a lot of the Chris, it's not Do. I think it's Dow. Chris Dow, D-O. Yeah. He's this really cool dude. Excuse me, hit the mic. This really cool guy from Los Angeles. He's an entrepreneur and he's a great teacher, to be honest. He teaches so much about a lot of things, design and how to build your business. But he was teaching on how to actually build your pricing as an entrepreneur or creative. And I thought it was so fascinating. Wow. So, yeah. And I dove in. And because, I'm curious because people approach me all the time, especially here at Helps Too, right? I want to do this thing with you, or I want to be on this podcast with you or whatever. And how do you price that? What does that look like? So I'm excited to talk about that today.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting because things have been changing a lot here at Helps Too.
Sure have.
Just a little bit of putting our dirty laundry out there. Not to air out our dirty laundry on the show, but
air it out.
We've been undercharging for a really long time for a lot of clients, and so we've been kind of assessing that, mostly Gabby, because she does most of the sales calls and talks to potential clients. But, assessing that and thinking okay, how can we actually pitch what we are worth as a company versus and make it seem doable to other people versus we just keep underselling ourselves because that's what someone's able to pay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think it's really cool to watch the growth happen, right? First of all, we don't take on a bunch of clients. We kind of have a handful of clients, and we'll probably take on who knows, two, maybe 2 more or something like that. I don't know, it could be more. Sure. But whatever God wants to happen, we'll see. But to be honest, I think, and the reason for that, just in case you're wondering, is we really want to be focused on our products.
Oh, yeah.
So just backing it up a little bit. We have our book out. We don't need another marketing book. More books hopefully to come in the future. We have a product that's been, a course of sorts that's being created right now, and so many great ideas. We want those to be the main focus, but you got to pay the bills and fund the projects with the marketing budget. So it takes money to make these things happen. It does. We're grateful for the people that we do work with, our clients. So yeah. So we, like you said, Amber, we have been undercharging, not to everyone, but to some clients. And I think the reason why is because I really started this as a solopreneur, like a solo entrepreneur. So I started doing it all on my own, and I started at a young age. So
how old were you when you started?
Oh my gosh. I started doing marketing like straight out of college. But
when you took on Helps Too, though.
I was 26.
Wow.
When I took on Helps Too as a business owner.
Wow.
I think I was 26.
Yeah,
I was pretty young.
Entrepreneur to own your own business.
Yeah, with 4 employees.
Yeah, yeah. If you're 26, comment below if you're doing that, because that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it felt like I was getting hit in the face with a water hose. You know what I mean? You can't breathe. Just gotta take it and endure. But I will say it felt right. I knew it was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
I felt like there was divine like affirmation in the midst of it all. But a lot of people, I actually. So when I actually bought Helps Too, I gained a lot of clients naturally.
Right.
The company was losing money, but there were still clients onboarded. So, and when Helps Too started, it was for ministries.
Right.
It was a thing. It was a marketing company, not a thing. It's a marketing company geared towards helping ministries and underdogs who really could not, afford marketing. Right. So a lot of the prices were cut by tremendous amounts. And so it was not really helping Helps Too, but it's just what I knew. It's what I jumped into. And so, and I'm glad because now I've learned so much. And then, we took on like different clients that I just kind of approached or like was already kind of involved in. I'd be like, well, have you ever thought about marketing? Or I could do that way better for the same amount you're paying whoever that you're doing it. And so, yeah, we'd end up doing really cool projects. But back then, the money I was charging felt sufficient, right? For like my experience, for my knowledge at the time, for me being on my own, totally okay. Right. And then, 5 or 6 years passes, like because this year we lost a client, which we love. We were with them though for like 6 years.
Right.
And so legitimately it was crazy because we looked at their agreement again, and we were doing like $10,000 worth of work for like something crazy, like $2,800 a month. Like, I'm not kidding you. I could just shoot myself in the foot because it was young Gabriella Martay just trying to like get out there and make money.
Right.
But now I can see like my vision has opened up. I don't just see the tree, I see the forest now. And so, and I think that's like, sometimes that comes with time. It comes with learning, throwing yourself. It comes with encountering people, like actually going through experiences. Yeah. So,
and it means, valuing yourself properly, I think means sometimes saying no.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because there will be so many opportunities. You're talking about seeing the forest instead of the tree. If all you see is the tree, you're like, this is my only opportunity. I better get on this.
That's probably one of the hardest things when it comes to pricing yourself. Right. I think because a lot of people price out of desperation. So they're so desperate to hook a client. And so they look at the person or the company and they judge them. They judge their budget. They don't know. And they're just desperate. So they just shoot really low.
Right.
And then they end up stuck there for a while, and then a year goes by and you're no longer desperate, but you feel it in your soul. I'm doing all this work. It is crazy. I'm not getting paid enough. I'm starting to resent this opportunity that was once like my desperate move out of desperation.
Exactly.
And so I think, one thing, George Temple, who was my mentor before he sold Helps Too to me, he said this, and I don't even know if he remembers this, but he was like, Gabby, if a client is rude, demeaning, or just doesn't see the value, just let it go. Yeah. There will always be more fish in the sea. And they have those terms, blue ocean versus red ocean, right? Like blue ocean means there's not a lot of competition in your industry, and red ocean means there's a ton of competition. And when it comes to marketing, it just feels like it's a red ocean.
For sure.
So when George said that, like back in the day, I was like, sure? Question mark. But like, he's not kidding. There's so many people. Like, honestly, every company has need for marketing.
Right. And
every artist too.
Yeah. And it's not worth it to put yourself through that mess of dealing with a really demanding, really relentless, really, demeaning client. Like, honestly, like,
I have been there.
Yeah.
For real, many times.
And valuing and pricing yourself isn't just about money. It's about, do you value yourself as a person enough to not do something that's against your morals, that's against, your values? Like, we even had we had Abraham on a while ago now.
Yeah, we had Abraham on.
Yeah, and it was
from
awesome.
Alcamba. Is that how you say it? Alcamba? That's his production company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Freedom Project,
I didn't know how to pronounce it. Yeah. So, a shout out to Abraham. Hey.
I probably pronounced it wrong because I pronounce everything, Abraham, if you're watching, that you do wrong.
Well, she's working on it.
We do quote him a lot, though.
We do, but because he had so much wisdom to say. And he said, like, even if McDonald's presented the opportunity to work with me for marketing, like, I would say no. No matter how much they wanted to pay, because I'm against, what they're doing. They want to feed people lies that they're giving them healthy, wholesome food, and they're not.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you value yourself enough, not just to, like, price yourself correctly, but also, like, stick with what you believe to be true and to be good and right,
Dang, I feel like a revolution is beginning. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the truth.
And I
will say that. Yeah, that's right.
Stu has some history with, like, saying no to clients because of the way they treated us.
Actually, I've said no a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's because, honestly, if I'm going to be 100, I think transparency is what's beautiful about this podcast and these YouTube. That's a hair. That's so weird. It was floating. Okay, sorry. I was distracted. Creative. But I will say, low-key, in transparency, I have never felt desperate. I just, like, I have been in crunches okay, so this is how I explain entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. You know how people describe life, right? As like mountaintops. Like you're going to climb up the mountain in life. And then once you get there, it's great for like maybe like 5 years. And then you're going to fall off the mountain. That's a lie. Life is mountain ranges. And I think I said that in our last podcast with Lexi Bradley.
Yeah.
It just really is mountain ranges. And what I mean by that is you're going to go up, go up mountains and then come down, and you're being valleys, and they're going to go up mountains and then come down. And as an entrepreneur, as you're learning, because we all have to learn, nobody walks into entrepreneurship or creative ventures and they know everything. It's just not possible. We're human. Like Whitney Houston didn't start off the best singer in the world. She had to learn, she had to train. And when she did, she was like, you could not find someone better, in my personal opinion.
And you have to learn by experience. Like, you're not going to start as an entrepreneur and know everything. You have to learn a lot by doing.
You do. And I think I say that because, in all transparency, I was never so desperate to take abuse from clients or people, partners. And once somebody crossed the line with me, I was like, I'm done. Because you're the one that's losing. Because I've always had that high sense of value.
Yeah.
It might be because I'm a daddy's girl and that man raised me with the ultimate strength to be like, I don't care what anybody has to say. I am fabulous. But I will say, as creatives, I don't know what we need to do to get there.
Yeah.
But like, we need to get there because that's going to revolutionize your pricing strategy. So like that's number one.
To see yourself as the prize, to see yourself as the valued thing.
Someone who has something
also
to offer.
Applies to dating, ladies.
Yeah. And
see
gentlemen.
yourself as the prize.
Yeah, poor guys out here. I feel like guys get used more than girls, but that's a whole other
true.
story. Yeah. From my own experience.
Yeah, it goes both ways for sure.
Go down the drain with all this. But so yeah, I think that's the foundation here. You have to have an understanding of what you have is valuable. And let me tell you, I sit down with clients and I sit down to help them with marketing, right? Like people approach me all the time. Can you help me with marketing? I'm not kidding. And I'm like, sure. So I'll sit down with them and I'm just going to consult with them. I feel like a therapist. I really do. Because in these moments, they're like, my business is not working. What is wrong? And they think it's a marketing issue, but the reality is it's there. They are the issue.
It's a personal issue.
It is a total identity crisis. Like, I just talked to a client last weekend at the coffee shop. They approached me, found me on Facebook. I don't know how, but they wanted me to just give them a consultation. Sure, let's do it. Let's talk. And so turns out they are an incredible venue. I'm just going to leave it at that. And they charge maybe 1/5 of the price that they should be charging for people to use their venue.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, this is why you're struggling. Not because you don't have marketing, not because people aren't approaching you.
Of social
because
medias.
their roster is halfway full for 2022.
Wow.
For the next year. So we're in 2021 right now. I'm sorry if you're watching this in 2022, but I just busted this out. It's not that people aren't approaching them.
Right.
They're not charging enough.
Right.
Because, and that's,
and it's not
sustainable.
sustainable.
And one person in their partnership team was like, well, I just can't have faith for the fact that we should charge that much.
Right. They
and
don't
I'm like,
think
well,
someone will be willing to pay that.
Well, yeah, I stay broke. Like, I mean, honestly,
yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but like, that's what we need to kind of come to grips with is like, and then they showed me pictures of the venue. Gorgeous. But yet, like, we see things differently when it's ours, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They had no idea. So I just challenged them. I said, number one, I think you need to change your revenue model and the way you sell these things, And so
how would you advise someone to try and sell something if they, if they're reassessing their value and they realize like, hey, I think I'm actually worth more than what I've been charging? Like, how should they approach that when they're talking to, potential clients or people who want to buy their art or whatever it is?
Yeah. So Chris Doe like changed my whole life. I hope someone sees this and sends this to you, Chris, because we're honoring you. I'm not going to try to claim this as like I found this out one day in a dream. Didn't happen that way. But he talks about value-based pricing, and I don't think he created this per se, but this is what he does, and I think it's really wonderful. And value-based pricing is very different from billing. Billing says my time is worth money, which everyone's time is technically worth some dollar amount, I'm sure. So when you look at a project, you think of it in terms of hours. And I know I used to do this.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, I'm going to build this website. This website's going to take me 25 hours. I charge $100 an hour. So without a doubt, I'm going to charge $2,500, right? And so, okay, that's cool.
Sure.
But value-based, I mean, you can do that. Like, if you want to do that, like, it's up to you. But I'm past it because as a creative, I can only build so many websites. You know what I mean? And first of all, I just think it's kind of ridiculous that especially in Western culture, I mean, this is like, I feel like we're going back to like the McDonald's vibe that we had earlier. But in Western culture, like, who decided to put a dollar amount on my time? And like, I just feel like time is priceless. Yeah. I don't feel like I should put dollar amounts on my time.
Right.
Like, and so I put dollar amounts on the value I can give you because time is something that's like to me, time is a gift from God that's given to me. That's priceless.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try to put a dollar amount to my time. That's a gift. It's free. In terms of like someone giving it to me, but it's just priceless. Like you do not get time back. I cannot trade my time. I can't give you a chunk of my lifespan. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just not possible. But I can tell you how much value I'm bringing to you in terms of like my project that I'm doing for you and then the future that you have. So how you do this, how I do this and how I've been taught to do this from just different research and stuff is I look at the client and I ask them bold in the face, or if it's on the phone, bold in the phone. And I say, so what are you trying to do? And then they say, well, we're struggling or whatever. We want to do this. We want to do this. Well, why are you getting in touch with me? These are just real questions. Well, because I heard that you are pretty good at this. And like, I heard you on a radio ad or something. I don't know, whatever, whatever they say. And I'm like, okay, cool. What kind of value, like if I do something for you, like how is it going to return on its investment in the future for you? Like if I do marketing for you for the next 3 months, like what is that going to do for your business? Right. Tell me all about it. And then they do. And I say, okay, well, what are you really like wanting from me? These are questions that I ask. I'm just super transparent and I kind of talk back. I don't just listen. Sometimes I'll give feedback. Okay, cool. And sometimes this is like the part where I realize, oh, there's a definite flaw in their business model. So even if because marketing is gas to the fire. So even if I put gas on their fire, which is their business model, some people don't even have a fire.
Yeah, they gotta have a fire to start
throwing gasoline around and it's getting muddy. And that's exactly what happens when someone doesn't have a good business model. And a good business model is basically you are selling something, you are doing something, and you make more than you put out. So it brings in more money than you're putting out.
Right.
So if I'm making websites, I just keep going back to this because I just feel like it's such an easy example.
Sure.
However I want to price my output is less than the amount of money that's coming back in. That's a good business model. You're making money.
Right.
And so, or at least breaking even. But the moment you're losing money, you're just like not doing well. And so I ask those kind of questions. And then the most like recent question I ask is I go, well, what are you thinking in terms of, like, I ask about their pain points, like, okay, like, all right, you're hurting, but like, what do you think I should do for you? And then a lot of people don't know, and that's fine. That's why I bring in my doctor skills. And but some people do. Yeah. And they'll say, I want you to do like this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, email marketing, or help me with social media, or I want you to do like media buying and help me with these ads. And
yeah.
Cool. And then some people will jump to it before I can. But if they don't, like, some people will say, well, how much do you charge? And that's cool. But sometimes people don't. And so I say, I just cut to the chase. And I'm just very honest. I'll say, this typically costs blank to blank. This typically costs $15,000 a month to about $5,000 a month. And, you know, some people won't flinch. That's the thing. As creatives, I think we downplay ourselves so much. I know I have. I look at a client and I'll say blank this range. And a lot of you are probably wondering why I started with the bigger number. Chris Do said that it's psychology. When you hit someone with the bigger number first, the latter number actually seems like a deal in their minds. Yeah, it sounds doable. It sounds possible. So you freak them out
like,
first instead of lust.
But, 15 to 5,000. That means it could be as low as 5,000.
There's a range. Yeah. So you do the range. You will probably have 50% of people that are like, that's cool. Let's start with the lower range. No joke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Surely.
And then you do whatever. You build your package for that lower range, right? But then you're going to have probably 50% of people that say, well, I can't afford that. And then what you say in response is, well, what can you afford? And I kind of do it like this. And then this is so transparent. This is not me being fake. Because I think some people might say, oh, well, that's so fake. No, I really want to help people.
Yeah.
Like, and if I can't be the one to help them, I'm going to turn them to someone who can.
Right.
Because people will approach you with things that you're like, I just can't, like, I'm going to lose money if I help you at that cost. So I know someone who's like an intern that would crush it for you. Yeah. And they'll bless you. Like,
yeah, they'll do it for the price you're able to afford.
I'll give you their email address, like, contact them.
Right.
Like, here you go. Like, I'm all about helping people. Helps too. We like to help you, help others. So, all right. So when they go, I can't afford that, I'll be like, well, okay, let's hold on. What can you afford? Because maybe I can build a package, or maybe I can do something for you at that price range. And that's where an honest transaction happens on the sales front, because I've had so many people try to play me, try to play the company, try to play people I know, because everybody wants a deal. And, you know, honestly, I'm not trying to be like mean, but I just don't have a lot of tolerance for that. Like,
and we don't work for free.
I don't. You know, to be honest, I don't mind helping you. I love, you know, giving people great value, but I'm not Costco. I'm not going to give you 15% off. Like, you know, that's really my choosing, to be honest. But if that's all you want, that's a red flag to me. Yeah. You're probably not going to be a great person to work with long term, because you're always trying to, you know, do something cheaper or like cut corners. And that's just not how I work. I'm sorry if that's bougie, but I just don't. I'm thorough. I like to do great work. I like a good budget. Right. And that's just been me since I was born. Like, I'm telling you the truth. I am thorough. I want to paint the whole canvas. I want the best paints. I want to be given the resources to thrive. Right. And in the marketing world, I feel like a lot of people cut themselves short when they don't have the resources to do someone's marketing. Right. So you're going to do a campaign, but you only get $500 of ad spend. That's really hard to reach a lot of people and see people like start to donate to a cause or something with just $500. Is it possible? Yeah, we have success stories ourselves that could speak to that. We've done that, but it's hard. Yeah. So, you know, bigger budget, more likelihood of success. Yeah. Unfortunately. Now, is it always successful? No, because you got to know what you're doing. So, right. And then just sometimes it's just not going to work. It's just marketing, but we'll get to that. So, but whatever you do, you know, it really could be different. Like, so that's how I start a conversation when someone says, well, what do you charge? Well, I don't have like a going rate. Like I charge based on value. And so, and how do you get those ratios, right? I like in terms of not ratios, how do you get that like that span 15,000 to 5,000?
Right.
That's a great question. I look at the value I'm going to bring someone. So if I get approached by a small business owner, they are asking me to do a website. We're just going to stick with this example.
Sure.
I know that this website is going to probably bring them $100,000 over the next year. Like it's going to make them profit $100,000 because now people can order through the website.
Right.
Now this is all estimation, right? But like I'm looking at like the amount they make every year. And these are questions you can ask. Like how much money do you think that this website would bring into your company?
Right.
I think that's okay. Because you're trying to figure out like, are we going to be a good match to work together?
Right.
So if I'm going to bring in $100,000, I always think in my mind, okay, I want them to pay me 10% of that. Because that's me saying I can't guarantee you results. Because if I could, I'd be like, give me 75%.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I can say that I'm going to try my hardest.
Oh,
and I have great skills. So I'm only going to ask for 10%.
So would be 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000. And I would probably split that up personally. It's up to you what you do with that 10,000. You can say I want that up front for a 6-month period of time or whatever. But I split that up over the months that I'm going to be working with them. And if that's per year, so 10,000 divided by 12, that's not a lot of money. But so you get to choose your clientele, right? So 10,000 divided by 12, that's about $833 a month.
Okay.
They would pay us $833 a month. And then, you know, of course, we always assess like probably every 2 weeks, to be honest, like what's really happening. But, you know, let's say we work with them for a year and we realize actually the website made $250,000. I would say, hey, I think we should look at this pricing.
Yeah.
Because the value we're bringing you is way more than we thought it was.
Right. And that's what value-based pricing means, right? Is that
based on the value you bring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rather than your hours.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a beautiful relief to my life and my soul. And I will say another example is if let's just say like, I don't know, what's like a food chain that's like really popular?
Starbucks. You got a Starbucks cup.
Okay,
right in front of you.
Starbucks. Bless you. We drank Starbucks.
We sure did.
Because we were in a rush.
It wasn't bad.
It was good.
We enjoyed it.
Had the honey oat latte. Honey oat
milk
latte.
Yeah.
I like oat milk, y'all. Anyways, if Starbucks approaches us and they're like, hey, could you build our website? I'm thinking,
sorry,
we're going to make a lot more money. Yeah, right? In a year. And so I'm going to take that same equation that I just gave y'all. How much money do you think this website will bring you the first year? And you can ask that to whoever approaches you at Starbucks. Probably won't be the CEO because they, you know,
they have like, people below them that do all
that
that.
handle all that. So, and then 10% of that. And if that is $3.5 million, which probably would be a lot more, to be honest. But like, you know, or you're building their app or whatever, and you know that's going to be $100 million.
Right. People ordering on the app,
you
that's
going
to bring in a lot of money.
You need to split that up into, take your 10% and split that up over the 12 months that it's going to take you to build that website or whatever. Now, I'm talking about reoccurring.
Right.
Like
there are also projects where you just get paid up front.
Up front. Yeah. You do half up front, half on the back end. It depends on what you're doing. Sure. When I built websites for like a living and it was my main thing, I legitimately would ask for half up front, half on the back end. So if their website is going to bring in $3.5 million, that's $350,000. And I want, what is that? Cut in half, 150, 120, 175, 75,000 up front. And then when I'm done, I'd probably split that up into other payments. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like I would split it up maybe into 4 payments
Starbucks,
or something.
They can
checkpoints. Yeah, checkpoints. Or maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, that's how I actually charge. And I think it's okay. Like somebody approached me and their business that they're working at, like they're employed, but their salary. And so their business asked them to actually take on more duties without paying them. And the person goes, do you think it's appropriate to ask for a raise? And I said, yeah. I said, well, what are you going to ask for though? And the person was like, I don't know.
Right.
And that's fair. That's really fair. But I said, you know, you should really think about this new program they're trying to get you to develop. What is the ROI, the return on your investment going what's it going to be? And so I said, and then take 10% of that and then spend it over a year and ask them to raise your income by that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it.
I think it's fair. And then people will say, well, where'd you get that number? I think you can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that you're going to profit $3.5 million off this website. And because I can't guarantee you results, I'm not charging you 75% or 100%. Like,
right.
I'm only taking 10 because I can't guarantee you anything. And I wouldn't want to.
Right.
That's not honest.
No.
But I know I'm good at what I do. I've had great results in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I know what strategy we're going to use. I have faith in the tools, my experience, even if you have a team, my team. And so I'm only asking you for 10% of what you're going to make.
Fair.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. I feel like I just spilled all my tea all over the table. You can have it all.
All the secrets.
All the secrets. I only tell it my secrets. I'm just kidding. These aren't secrets. They're on YouTube. I'm sure you could find them somewhere. But I just don't think they're out there, but they're not widely known.
And they're not only widely known, they're not always super condensed and easy to follow.
That's true.
Like sometimes you have to go take a whole course, you know,
to figure all this out.
And here we are, just telling you, plain and simple, in plain English.
Yeah.
Like, this is how
I
it
think
works.
that was my biggest struggle when I first became a business owner. I was like, how do I get leads? And then how do I close these leads? Like, it was really, I was like question mark. I was blank in my mind.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I was like, I feel like honestly God just gave me knowledge, and then I found like different resources, and I feel like I get it now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And we also have a video on how to find leads, right? Didn't we do a video?
Yes, we did. I forgot about that one.
So we did a whole podcast, a whole video if you're on YouTube on how to find leads. Yeah, and I think we did like 7 different ways?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. It was really wild. I just wish that was available.
Right.
For me when I started. I was so clueless. Like, and so, but now like everything is open.
You've learned a lot.
Learned a lot.
And now we're sharing what we know with you. So hopefully it helps.
Hopefully it helps. You guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on the podcast app, no matter what app that is, make sure you dial us in as a favorite or as your recurring podcast, because we have information like this all the time. And our goal is to really, as creatives, right? Amber's an illustrator. She's a musician. I do music as well as, I'm a graphic artist and all the things, web designer. I've had to put my hand to the fire in many different ways. But I will say, I feel like creatives, we need to stick together, number one. But number two, I just feel like I want to see us rise as a people group. I mean, without the arts, without people that really provoke creativity, I think life is just dead.
Boring.
Like, it's really black and white. It's boring.
Yeah.
And I think the artists of our day are really undervalued.
Yeah.
And so that's why this is important to us. The creative conversation must go on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think this one's super helpful for a lot of creatives that are freelance photographers, videographers, web designers, like that type of stuff. You know, usually our podcasts, I feel like, are geared a lot towards like really artsy creatives that are like, I don't know, musicians or whatever. But, you know, this one is good.
Yeah. And we want to give you guys tools.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're dragging our feet, but to come is a course where we really go over stuff like this in more depth and like show you how to run your own ads and all of that. But I'm just dragging my feet. There's a lot of moving pieces in this season. So,
well, and while you're waiting for the course, we've got a book. So if you have not already read We Don't Need Another Marketing Book, that goes in so much more depth than we're able to on any of these podcast episodes about just how to market yourself as a creative, how to really value yourself and value your art, and just learn how to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, that value piece is huge. Like, so many of us are dealing with imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
I even find myself like tempted to give into it sometimes. It's like,
me too.
An imposter syndrome is when you think that people are going to find you out, that you're really not that good. I mean, I have those thoughts all the time. I just got to fight through them. And they can really stop you from making the money you deserve or getting the opportunities you deserve because you hold yourself back. And so, yeah, get connected. Also, we have a newsletter and we send it out, every 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's been really good. Amber writes it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we create the content together about what it's going to be about. Sometimes it's me or her, but like It's just really powerful. So get encouraged, stay connected, and we will see you on the flip side. We love you guys. Take care, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
Bye.
Bye.